Okay, and I got one last part. What if I asked you, is it possible for your company to make a profit of $2,500? Is it possible? Well, just like in the previous video where it asked me, um, how many X's would it take to get a profit of just 50 bucks? The question is, could you make a profit of 2,500? You're going to do the same thing that you did before. You're going to take this number here and you're going to plug it in to P. So I'm going to put 2,500 here. And you're going to try to solve this for X. If it's impossible, you're going to run into imaginary numbers. Now, on this one, I'm going to start the way I did on the last one. I'm going to set it equal to 0. So I'll subtract over the 2,500. That cancels out. So there's my 0 equals negative 0.5x squared plus 40x. And this is negative 2,800. And then I'm going to divide everybody by negative 0.5 because this will work. 0 divided by that is 0. Those cancel. I'm left with x squared. Positive divided by a negative is a negative 80x. Negative divided by a negative is a positive, and this would be 5,600, yeah, because you're dividing by 1/2, which is multiplying by 2, and 28 times, that's 5,600. Okay, now, I can try to factor. That might take me a while, and since I factored on the last one, I think I'll just use a quadratic formula on this just to give you an example of that. But if you have 0 is equal to 8x squared plus bx plus c, then using the quadratic formula, here it is, x is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And in this problem, this is my a right here, and technically that's an invisible 1. And so that's going to go here and here in the formula. I'll be putting a 1 there. And then the negative 80 is my b, which will go here and here. And the positive 5,600 is my c, which will go here. So over in this equation, it's going to be negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So my c is going to go there. I love to color code things if you haven't figured that out yet. My b goes there, and that's an a, and that's an a. So let's see. Blue was a 1. A 1 goes here and a 1 goes there. Negative 80, and then C was a 5,600. Okay, so negative times negative is a positive 80, plus or minus negative 80 squared. Let's see, 8 times 8 is 64 with 2 zeros. That would be 6,400. Minus 4 times 1 times 5,600, and I can already see what's going to happen right here. That's going to be 22,400 all over 2 times 1 is 2. And when you go to take 6,400 minus the 22,400, you actually get a negative 16,000. And here is where we run into a problem. If you try to take the square root of a negative 16,000 on your handy dandy calculator, do you know what's going to happen? It's going to go, my calculator says domain error. You cannot take the square root of a negative number. This is impossible right here. That is impossible. Impossible. Oh, that doesn't write very well at all, does it? So, the answer to the question, is it possible for it to make a profit? No. No, it's not possible. Ain't gonna happen. Now, if I had had a positive 1600 there, I could take the square root of the positive 1600 and then either add it to the 80 or subtract it from the 80 and divide it by 2, and I could come up with two possible answers for x. Of course, if one of those possible answers for x had been negative, I'd throw that answer out because x is a number of items that you're selling. You can't make negative items, so you'd have to throw one of them out, which means the other one will be your answer. So I don't know. It's going to depend how big of a number they give you. You might get actual answers, or this might happen to you and there are no answers. So you could get no answers, you could get one answer, you could get two possible answers. It just depends on what number you're given and what your formula came out to be for profit. So have fun.